You'll never be anything more than average. That's what she said. Eyes dry, tone even, as if she'd rehearsed it 1,000 times before letting it loose like a grenade across our quiet Sunday morning. We were sitting at the kitchen island, her sipping oat milk, me nursing a cup of black coffee that suddenly tasted like regret. Average. She didn't yell it. She didn't cry. She just said it. And I just sat there, wondering if she'd always felt that way. Wondering if the woman I loved had been quietly disappointed in me for years and only now decided to let the mask slip. Babe, I didn't mean it like that, she said, but her eyes gave her away. Pity maybe. Or boredom dressed up in concern. It's just, I had dreams, and you had routines. I needed more. You're safe, you're sweet. But safe isn't ambition. I didn't respond. Not right then. I just nodded, like a man watching his own slow death in a mirror. Her name was Megan. We'd been married 6 years. High school sweethearts. She used to write my name in the corners of her notebooks with little hearts. Now she was erasing me in sentences. She got up, kissed my temple like she still loved me, and went out for a jog. I sat there another 10 minutes, coffee cold, and stared at the dog-eared edge of her vision board still pinned to the wall. That damn board. It had Dream Car in the center, circled in glittery pink marker. A white Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet, the one she used to point at on the freeway with a spark in her eyes. Said she'd drive it down the Pacific coast one day, top down, music loud, sunglasses on, middle finger up to the world. I always thought we'd get there together. But Megan got tired of waiting, and I got tired of being safe. That night, I couldn't sleep. I laid next to her in the dark, listening to her breathing, and tried to remember the last time she looked at me like she used to. Tried to remember the last time I felt like a man in her eyes, not a placeholder. 3 days later, she started coming home late. Work's been crazy, she said. Really? You're a yoga instructor, I replied, too softly for her to hear. Or maybe just too tired to say it louder. She stopped initiating, stopped asking how my day was, started scrolling through her phone in the middle of dinner, smiling at texts she wouldn't let me see. One night, while she was in the shower, I picked up her phone off the counter. I didn't mean to, or maybe I did. Doesn't matter. The screen lit up with a message from Sienna. Sienna was her sister. It said, "So when are you leaving him?" I put the phone down like it burned, walked out to the balcony, stared at the neighbor's porch light like it had answers. Megan came out, towel wrapped around her, still damp and glowing. You okay? She asked. I nodded. Yeah, just thinking. She kissed my shoulder. You think too much. A week later, I made the call. I had savings, quiet savings. Stocks I never told her about. A side hustle I built while she slept. Enough to do something reckless. Or beautiful. Or both. At first, I just wanted to leave. Quietly. No drama. Just a note and a hollow echo where my footsteps used to be. But something kept gnawing at me. Not revenge. Not anger. Just clarity. Like I needed her to see the version of me she never waited for. The man she thought would never come. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I bought the car. White Porsche 911 Cabriolet. Custom red leather interior, just like the photo on her vision board. Fully paid. Registered. Detailed. Delivered. All under her name. And I didn't stop there. I wrapped it in a red bow, wrote a note, and slipped it onto the driver's seat. It read, "For the woman who said I'd never be more than average. You were right, until today." And then I drove it. Not to our home, but to her sister's. Sienna lived across town in a sleek condo she couldn't really afford. She once told me I was too vanilla for Megan. That Megan needed fireworks, not fireplaces. That I was a phase, not a future. Said it with a grin like she was doing me a favor. I rang the doorbell. She answered in silk pajamas and surprise. Jake, she blinked. What are you doing here? Just dropping something off? I said, tossing her the keys. It's Megan's dream car. She laughed, confused. Wait, what? Why are you giving it to me? I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Because Megan doesn't dream about me anymore. And you? Well, you've always had a thing for taking what's hers. Her face fell like a chandelier cut loose from the ceiling. Before she could respond, I walked away. I didn't turn back. Didn't wait for a reaction. Just let the silence stretch behind me like a ribbon in the wind. I wasn't angry. Not anymore. But something in me had shifted. And the man who walked down those steps? He wasn't safe anymore. Megan called 34 times in the next 24 hours. I didn't answer. She left voicemails, each one shakier than the last. The first few were calm, controlled, like she was trying to talk her way out of a parking ticket. "Hey babe, did you drop off the car at Sienna's?" There must be some confusion. By the seventh, she wasn't calm anymore. "Jake, what the hell are you doing? That car was for me. That was my dream. What kind of sick joke is this?" I listened to all of them in the back seat of an Uber, the same way you watch a thunderstorm through a window, close enough to feel the chill, far enough to stay dry. And then came the text from Sienna. "You're an asshole." But that was impressive. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. That wasn't about her. Not really. This was about truth. About seeing someone. Really seeing them. And realizing they never looked back with the same eyes. Let me tell you something about being underestimated. It's quiet. It's slow. It sneaks up on you like a leak under the floorboards. You don't realize how much rot has spread until the damage is done. Megan didn't cheat in the obvious ways. No lipstick on collars. No hotel receipts in her coat pocket. She cheated in the way she stopped choosing me. In the way her ambition stopped including my name. She used to talk about us building something together, a wellness studio, a travel vlog, even a little beach cafe once, back when dreams were free. But somewhere along the line, we became her, and I just became the guy who paid for the Wi-Fi and made green smoothies in the morning. I let it happen. That's on me. I thought love was sacrifice. Turns out, love is mutual sacrifice, not servitude dressed up as patience. The night after I dropped off the car, I drove 4 hours up the coast to a cabin my friend Mateo had offered me years ago, said I could use it if I ever needed to disappear. Funny how the people who really know you always seem to sense a storm before you do. I sat on the porch with a beer, watching the tide pull the moonlight across the water. No calls, no emails, just the sound of my own breath and the ache in my chest where her laugh used to live. I thought about the first time I saw her cry. Freshman year of college, outside a Starbucks, mascara running, heartbroken over some poetry professor who said her writing was derivative. I'd offered her my last cookie and told her I'd read every page of hers if no one else would. She said I made her feel seen. But somewhere along the way, I became the background. The steady hand that held the flashlight while she chased every shiny thing. Until one day, she realized she didn't need me to hold the light anymore. Not when there were brighter bulbs waiting around every corner. That Porsche wasn't just a gift. It was the period at the end of a sentence I'd been too afraid to finish. 3 days passed. On the fourth, Megan showed up. I heard her before I saw her. Gravel crunching under tires. A door slamming. The frantic click of her boots on the wooden steps. I opened the door before she could knock. She looked exhausted. Hair tied back. Makeup smudged like she'd slept in her car. She didn't even say hello. "You humiliated me," she whispered. I tilted my head. "Did I?" She stepped inside without asking. "Same old Megan. You think you proved a point, huh? That you're some, what, mastermind? Some silent genius? Jake, you gave my dream to my sister. You weaponized my own vision board against me." I didn't respond right away. Just watched her. Watched the way her anger couldn't quite mask the guilt underneath. She kept going. "You know what that did to me? Do you have any idea how many people have called me? Mom, friends, clients? They think I'm some villain and you're some underdog hero rising from the ashes." I almost smiled. "Or not." She froze. And then she broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just folded into herself, sat down on the old leather couch and whispered, "Why didn't you fight for me?" I sat across from her. "Because I did. For years. You just didn't notice." She looked up, eyes wet but guarded. "So what now? You just walk away? No explanation? No forgiveness?" I took a breath. Let it linger. "This is the explanation." She didn't speak. "So I did. You said I wasn't ambitious. You were right, in a way. I wasn't ambitious enough to leave when I first realized you stopped seeing me. I kept hoping you'd come back. That one day you'd look at me like you used to. But you didn't. You loved the man who waited, not the man who grew." She blinked hard, like she was trying to push the tears back in. I leaned forward. "You said I wasn't fire. But the truth is, fire doesn't beg to be seen. It just burns." We sat in silence, the kind that fills every corner of a room and leaves no place to hide. She stood first, brushed her hands down her jeans like she needed to feel something solid. "You've changed." "Not really," I said. "You just never looked close enough." As she reached the door, she paused. "Why her?" "Sienna?" I said. Because you trusted her with everything except me. I wanted you to feel what it's like to watch someone else enjoy what you thought you owned. That one landed. I saw it in her eyes. She left without another word. And I didn't watch her go. Because I already had. Long ago, 3 months after Megan walked out of that cabin, I got a letter in the mail. Not an email. Not a text. An actual letter. Cream paper. Her handwriting unmistakable. For a moment, I just stared at the envelope, unsure if I wanted to rip it open or throw it into the fireplace unopened. I didn't do either. I sat down, cracked a beer, and opened it like it was a wound I knew would bleed again. It wasn't long. 3 paragraphs, maybe 4. She didn't ask me to come back. She didn't apologize, not exactly. But she said something I've reread more times than I care to admit. You were never safe. That's what scares me most now. You were a storm I mistook for a harbor. I folded the letter, slid it back into the envelope, and tucked it in the drawer with old photos and forgotten dreams. Not because I missed her, but because I wanted to remember the cost of loving someone who only saw half of you. You're probably wondering what happened with the car. Sienna tried to keep it, of course. Made a whole Instagram post about it. Said something like, "Hard work pays off," with a wink emoji and a filtered beach sunset behind her. That lasted about 10 days. Because the title, the registration, and the insurance? All under Megan's name. And the tax bill for the gift? Also hers. I filed everything legally, documented every transaction. There was nothing to fight, nothing to take back. Sienna ended up returning the car, not out of guilt, but because Megan refused to cover the taxes and insurance. They haven't spoken since. Last I heard, Sienna sold most of her furniture and moved in with some guy in Santa Monica. Megan moved back to her parents' place for a while, trying to rebuild. I don't know what she tells people now. Maybe that I snapped. Maybe that I played her. Or maybe she doesn't talk about me at all. Funny thing is, I didn't plan it to ruin her. I planned it to remember me. I used to be a man who waited. Waited for permission. For approval. For someone to clap when I did the right thing. No more. Now I own a consulting firm. Small team. Lean structure. High impact. I don't talk about my past much. Most people think I'm just another quiet guy with a good suit and sharp instincts. They don't know the fire I carry. The ashes I rose from. And I like it that way. Every now and then, someone asks why I'm single. I just smile and say, because I'm finally full. Not angry. Not bitter. Just full. There's a part of me, the old version of me, that still drives past that Porsche dealership on the edge of town. Every time I do, I glance at the display window. The gleaming white paint. The red leather. The dream Megan once had that I made real. Not for her, but for me. Because the truth is, that car wasn't her dream anymore. It was a symbol of who I became, of what she couldn't see, of the man she never waited for. And every time I drive past it, I don't see regret. I see arrival. I see me, the version she didn't believe in, but the one I always knew was there, just waiting to be unleashed. Quiet, patient, unforgettable.